ended with the darkest twist in the entire series. But hidden inside that ending are clues that reveal exactly how Volume 2 will play out, how Vecna plans to strike next, and how the Mind Flayer itself is preparing for war. Because while the heroes believed they had pushed Vecna back, he had already begun his true mission, somewhere deep inside the Upside Down. Vecna has taken 12 children, not random victims, not sacrifices, but subjects, for the exact same experiment that once turned Will Byers into something beyond human. Volume 1 didn't end with hope, it ended with preparation. The number 12 is not a coincidence. Vecna is recreating the Hawkins lab experiment, but on a larger, more dangerous scale. Remember, Will wasn't just kidnapped in Season 1. He was transformed by the Mind Flayer into a human receiver, a living hive anchor. And now, Vecna wants 12 more. 12 new anchors, 12 living radars, 12 enhanced children fused with the Upside Down. Vecna isn't preparing to fight the heroes. He's preparing to fight something much bigger. Here's where the theory becomes insane, because Stranger Things foreshadowed this years ago. Henry Creel is number 1. Kaylee is number 8. 11 is number 11. Add those numbers together, and you get 20. And what did Erica roll in Season 4 during the Dungeons & Dragons game to defeat Vecna? A perfect 20. This wasn't a cute reference. It was a prophecy. The only combination powerful enough to defeat Vecna is 1, 8, and 11, with Will as the missing piece who ties everything together. Destiny has been pointing toward this trio from the beginning. Scene 4, Will Byers, the human hive sensor. Ever since Season 2, Will touches his neck whenever the Mind Flayer or its creatures are near. His body reacts before his mind does. In Volume 1 of Season 5, this ability evolves. Will feels the tingling not only when Vecna is close, but when Demogorgons are near. This means Will isn't connected to Vecna. Will is connected to the entire hive, the vines, the mist, the creatures, the storm. Will is becoming the Mind Flayer's perfect anchor, a living radar. His evolution makes him the most important character in Volume 2. One of the most important moments in Volume 1 is the cave Max runs into. Vecna chases her, but then stops. He hesitates, he fears, and he refuses to enter. Why? Because that cave belongs to the Mind Flayer. It is pure hive territory, a place Vecna cannot control. This proves a terrifying truth. Vecna is not the king of the Upside Down anymore. The Mind Flayer is waking up, and Vecna knows he cannot defeat it alone. This cave becomes the final battlefield of Season 5. Vecna understands something the heroes don't. Will was the only human who perfectly fused with the Mind Flayer. Will became a living antenna, a human hive link. Vecna wants to create 12 versions of Will, not psychic weapons, not soldiers, but receivers, children whose fear, emotion, and trauma fuel his power. Vecna is preparing for war, not just against Hawkins, but against the Mind Flayer itself. Volume 1 shows subtle signs the Mind Flayer is regaining independence. The black mist moves without Vecna. The vines pulse in chaotic waves. The storm thickens. Creatures react to Will more strongly than to Vecna. The Mind Flayer wants its original anchor back. It wants Will. And it wants revenge against Vecna for breaking the balance of the Upside Down. This sets the stage for a three-way war. Vecna versus the Mind Flayer, and both versus the heroes. Kali has been missing since Season 2, but her role was never complete. She has illusion abilities, perception manipulation, mind trick powers, and deep knowledge of the lab children. She returns in Volume 2 with her group of misfits, ready to fight alongside 11. Because the prophecy of 20 requires her. 1, 8, 11. The original triangle. This is the team Destiny has been building toward. 11 brings raw telekinetic power. Kaylee bends reality with illusions. Will senses every movement of the hive. Together, they form the perfect triangle. Force, illusion, awareness. The only trio capable of fighting both Vecna's psychic military and the Mind Flayer's hive. In Volume 2, battle breaks out in 3 layers. The real world, the upside-down cave, and Will's mindscape. Vecna commands the 12 enhanced children like a psychic army. The Mind Flayer attacks from the shadows, striking for Will, and 11 and Kali strike back with everything they have. This is the biggest supernatural battle Stranger Things has ever shown. Inside the cave, the final battle reaches its breaking point. Will steps forward, knowing exactly what he has to do. His connection to the hive is stronger than ever, and the Mind Flayer's presence wraps around him like a storm. Vecna tries to invade his mind, forcing his way in, but Will drags Vecna deeper into the forbidden cave, the one place Vecna fears more than anything. 11 screams for him to stop, but Will doesn't turn back. He knows that the only way to end all of this is to break the hive from the inside. 11 unleashes every final ounce of her power, tearing apart Vecna's physical body in the real world. Kaylee's illusion traps Vecna's mind inside the cave, locking him in a prison he can never escape. And Will pulls the final strand of the hive into himself, a surge of energy so powerful that the Upside Down begins to collapse. Vecna's screams echo through every inch of the dimension. His mind shatters, his body crumbles. Vecna dies completely, mentally and physically. But the Mind Flayer isn't done. It lunges for Will one last time, desperate to reclaim its original host. Will feels it crawling inside his chest, draining the last of his strength. He looks at 11 with tears in his eyes and whispers, "It's okay. You can let me go." 11, crying, releases her final blast. The Mind Flayer melts into dust, collapsing in on itself until the entire hive evaporates. When Will's heart stops, everything connected to the Upside Down dies with him. The gates seal, the skies clear, the storm fades into silence. 11 collapses to the ground, holding where Will once stood. Dustin grips Steve's bandana, still crying from Steve's sacrifice. Max breathes steadily, finally free. Kaylee's body is covered with flowers as her group mourns her. The war is over, and the boy who was taken in Season 1 becomes the boy who saved the world in Season 5. And remember, these are all predictions for Volume 2, based on every hidden clue, foreshadowing detail, and Volume 1 twist we've seen so far. Let's see how close we get when the final chapter releases.